Hello, today we're going to talk about mailbox decor. Many people for Christmas wonder what to do with their mailbox and how best to handle it because there's so many different styles. So today I'm going to show you that, starting with the basic form, and then we're going to discuss how to alter it just slightly so it will fit your own mailbox depending on what you have. So we're going to start off with a 3-foot length of garland, which I've fluffed out. And we're using the 21-inch mesh. And just like you've seen me do before, just gather it up, leave a tail, use the greenery on your garland to tie it down, and just twist once or twice so that that holds. Then come back a ways, create a puff, and tie down. And continue with that until you reach the other end. Let's see, that one's going to be a little longer. Okay, so we have that tied. And we're going to cut straight across again to keep raveling to a minimum. And that has step number 1. Now then, we've got 2 other ribbons. We have a stripe mesh in a 2.5-inch width and a nice plaid sateen, which will also work well outside. And we're going to leave tails on that, and we're going to just gather or pleat up, and beside that one we're going to do the same with the mesh, and we're going to tie those in at the same spots, but we alternate. If your tail is on your plaid is on the one side, then let that come over to the other, and I'm going to skip a tied area again to let the ribbon flow, because even outside, any breeze giving movement, that's going to help really bring your piece to life. And I'm going to come over to this other side. Of course, as you can see then, I have this sinuous line going with my ribbons. Depending on how your garland falls, you may have more tied areas on one side than the other. Don't worry about that. It all comes out looking great in the end. Okay, so now we have that part done. Now we want to add a bow to the middle portion. So just to add a little more fullness, I'm going to just cut a length just under 2 feet. Could be just about 18 inches. That's plenty. You just want enough. The natural curling factor of the mesh, then if you just start gathering across the middle of it, it will curl up on its own and create its own bow without you having to loop for this, because you just want a little bit of fullness for this, not anything like the major bows that we've done before. So now then, just like we do in the bow making video, we do our half twist, and I'm going to do 3 loops of the stripe. And I leave tails. And 3 loops of the plaid. Now, as I told you when we started, this is to fit your standard mailbox. You can take your frame and spread it out more if you have a wider box. If your mailbox is, for instance, built into brick, then you may use a full garland or use a longer piece and you just extend out more on each side and let it hang down. You can use zip ties or the elastic ties like you would, or the tie downs like you would use in a truck to go around the base to help hold it on in that case where you need extra length to tie around. You can also use fine wire, anything that can secure it to your mailbox so that the wind or jealous neighbors or whatever don't take it away. Now, we've got all of our ribbon on here fully. Now we're ready to put our biggest objects in, which in this case are two large red ornaments. So we dip that in our glue, or if we have the glue gun, just apply that liberally to the tops and make sure that it's pushed down into your bow. Good. Don't trap any of your loops down. And you want to put that on an angle, not just straight across. Remember, you never do anything straight if you can help it. Let that glue harden a second. The next thing we're going to put in are these candy canes. Now at Trees and Trends we've got several different styles of candy canes. You can choose whatever you like. In this instance I'm using these lightweight plastic ones which are snowed or frosted in the green, which is a little more unusual to see. Most of the time we have the red and white. So now that I have that there, I'm going to put just a bit of glue on the side, and you want to lay that in diagonally across so that your crook is angled up. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. From the other direction, and make sure that both of those adhere well. Now, sometimes your bow is going to try to push that up, so just make sure that you've got it in there good and hold that for a second so that it stays in place, and let your glue cool. Okay, now then, the next thing would be to add the novelties to the side, which in this case, these are metal, hand-painted metal, and all you've got to do is just apply glue to the back side, rather liberally, and glue that right into your mesh. Do the same thing on the other side. Just like so. The next, we have the smaller ornaments, in this case a spiral plastic ball. Plastic is always great to use outside because it holds up well to the weather, and if accidents do happen, then you don't have breakage. So we're going to glue one of those at each end, where you have the ribbon tied. And then at the center, where everything's been cooling and hardening up here, you want to tuck one in on each side. And finish off with one in the very top. That way, as you bend the piece over the frame, you got this nice arch going. All right. Okay, now then, you're going to just work these down into your bow. If one stem seems a little long, just clip it a little shorter. Okay, and you want probably to do as if you're doing one at each corner of your center section. And then if you need a little height, you'll do a 5th piece upward. Just remember, don't leave any of your stems straight. Everything in nature has a curve to it, even if it's only slight. Okay, so we're going to tuck that in there. And then, for our last 2 pieces, they're going to go at each end. So we're going to tuck one end down here on this end. And one on the other. Now, after everything's cooled and set, this is a Mailbox Huggy frame, and all you're going to do is just bend this over so that it fits your mailbox. It's got the rubber on each side, which helps to grip. And then you're going to use the convenience of your evergreen greenery once again. And you're going to take those braces across the bottom and tie it on. Pull it down good and tight. And then flex the piece down following those arms. And again, take some pieces and tie to it so that it's good and secure. And then it's still going to want to flare out some, so just bend the bottom end slightly. And that way, when you have it up on the piece, everything will sit securely. So now you can see how this piece works. And you can see on our mailbox here that we already have set up for you how that fits.